So it's probably going to just be me and you. So
That's fine.
I kind of want to share my screen. So let me see if I can share my screen real quick. That will help you a little bit.
Okay. And I'm gonna mute my phone because the kids is in the background.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, okay, now you can go back on mute. So this is what we're working with. So remember we talked about like when you are looking for your credit score, you're always looking in different places and your score is different everywhere you go. Like your Credit Karma say one thing, your My Sesame something different. Your bank got a whole different credit score. It's because there's different credit algorithms. So the FICO 8 is an actual FICO score. It's not like what you see in Credit Karma. Credit Karma is a vanity score. And so FICO 8 is like the most popular currently. It won't stay that way, but it is right now. It's more forgiving when you have late payments. A lot of credit card users use it. So when you look on let's say your credit card statement or your bank's credit card statement online, it'll most likely in a small print say that this is a FICO score 8. And that FICO 8 goes across Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Across all three, they all have a FICO 8. So hopefully that helps. But if you're trying to see, okay, I want to go buy a house, what's my mortgage score looks like, that's the FICO 2, 4, and 5. And those right now are currently the most widely used for mortgages. Okay, so they use your employment records, your resident records, because lenders, when they pull your credit report, they actually check to see if your employment shows on your credit report. They also check to see how many addresses you have to see if it matches your credit application. So if you put down you've been living at an address for 2 years, but your credit report doesn't show it, they'll probably ask you a question about why there's discrepancy. And depending on what it is, they'll ask you to write a letter and say, well, my credit report shows my mom's address. That's where I get my mail. But my address is over here. Here's a copy of my lease for proof. I just don't get my mail there. Or whatever your reason is. They look at that stuff. If you have unpaid collections, it's going to show you have a lower score in your FICO 2, 4, and 5. It's going to have an impact. I'll tell you how that impact works later, but it's going to have an impact. It's the 35% of it is your payment history. As you can see, I'm gonna give you this document too. 30% of it is your accounts under your name. So they're going to look at the total amount that you owe versus your entire credit line. So if you have a credit card and a car note, they're going to look at how much you owe total compared to what you borrowed total. 15% is your credit history, how old your credit is. This is a good plug right here. The older, the better. So whenever someone says, can you be added as an authorized user on somebody else's credit card or credit, usually a credit card, it's because they're needing you to get your score up really fast, which can be really sometimes as quick as 30 days, sometimes 45 days. If you get put on, let's say your auntie has, 800 credit score and she got a credit card that's like 16, 17 years old and she barely uses it, but she has great credit. 15% of your credit score is going to be how old your credit is. And being added as an authorized user on somebody's credit card can increase your credit score super duper fast. You'd be surprised how fast it is. But they have to have good credit and not be using a lot of their credit, such as 10% or less of their credit. If you have a new credit recently, only 10% of that is affected. And then your credit mix, they really want to see a mixture. When you're looking at a mortgage, they want to see that you've had a mortgage before, or that you have a credit card or a student loan or some type of mixture, not just a credit report full of collections or a credit report with just a student loan. They want to see that you've had some sort of history of making payments and having credit. Of course, people say you don't have to have any credit, but let's be real honest. If you're buying a house, most people don't have cash to buy a house unless they're buying something that's, under $100,000. So usually they are borrowing, and a lot of lenders, I would say 99% of them, are actually looking at credit before they loan you money. So you need to keep these in line. If you add them all up, you get 100% of what your credit score is made of. So you have to be very, very conscious of how your payment history looks. That goes for late payments, how much you owe. That is a fact of keeping your credit line low. So if you go get you a credit card, Victoria's Secret or something like that, and you have a $500 credit limit, you keeping that credit utilization very, very low. Keep your credit as long as possible. So even if you paid off a credit card that was problematic, just keep it. Don't close it, because the older your credit, the better. People do mess up when they pay off some credit and then they close the account. Closing the account drops their score. Yeah. And when you look and see that you just paid off your debt and you're really, really happy, paid off my debt, I'm debt free or whatever, and you close that account and your score drops 80 points or 100 points, you should have just kept it open. You can be debt free and keep it open and not use it. Unless they send you a letter and say, if you don't use it, then we're going to close it. Then you go get you some gas and then pay it off in the next bill and just leave it there, Hold on, I'm about to hurt my grandbaby. He is really making a lot of noise. Hold on a second. Keep it down. That's why he don't live here. So when you look at your credit report, you want to look at your FICO score, not a vanity score, but a FICO score. Your FICO 2, 4, and 5. Your 2 is Experian. Your 4 is TransUnion, and your 5 is Equifax. I need you to know these 3 only because when you go and apply for a credit with a mortgage, they're going to use the middle score of all 3. So if your TransUnion is the lowest, whatever the other 2 are, whatever your middle score is the one that they are going to be using to qualify you. So you want to see if you can get all 3 of them as close as possible, because you may have a 740 in one and a 689 in another, and then a 700. They're going to go off of that 700 because that 700 is your middle score. If you are applying for a mortgage with somebody, they're going to take all 6 of you guys' scores, your 3, their 3 together, and take the middle of the 6 and use that. So if you apply for credit with somebody who doesn't have good credit, you can also be getting, I guess you would say, graded on the lower credit. Even though yours may be good, if theirs is lower, you want to work with them also. It's really good when it comes to couples, because sometimes couples, one person will have a higher credit score than the other, but if the couples work together, usually they can both bring their scores up together and not have to worry about being graded on the lower score. And when I say graded, when you go and apply for credit, the lower that middle score is, the more higher your interest rate is sometimes. And so your goal is to have a lower interest rate because it saves you money. So in order to get your scores, this is your plug. Go to myfico.com. Now I did it so that I can walk you guys through how to do it. And the way I did it is I went to myfico.com and I actually got the premium package. You don't have to get the premium package, but I did because I wanted to see what it offered versus a free one. The premium package cost me $39. Now, some people who are ready to go buy a house, they'll just go get this and they'll sign up for it. It has like a 7-day trial, I think it is, and then you do it monthly. And they'll check their scores and see if their FICO 2, 4, and 5 is ready, and then they'll just cancel it because that's how they wanted to know anyway. So I went and got the myfico.com. I got the premium package. I got all 3 of my bureaus. The best thing I like about it is I can get my FICO 8 is being updated along with my FICO 2, 4, and 5. But I also get my FICO 10 and my FICO 9, which are the newest credit FICO algorithms. I get all that for free. And if I make a payment on one of my accounts and it posts in the middle of the month, I see my credit score updated in real time. So I don't have to wait until the next month before I see the change in my credit score. So if I use, there's a little thing in there, I forgot what you call it, where you can go out there and play with the numbers and say, what if I paid off $1,500, or if I paid off $1,000 or whatever? It'll tell you. It's a simulator. That's what it's called. The simulator will tell you what it will do to your score. So I'll go out and I'll just go and make that payment. And then I'll wait for the next billing cycle for it to update my credit report. And I can see that it actually changed my credit score based upon the simulator. I like the simulator because I can play around with it. What if I only have $1,000 extra to put on this debt versus 500 or 2,000 or whatever it is, you put it in the simulator and it tells you how long it'll take you to get to a credit score you want, or it'll tell you how far up your score is going to go when you make those changes. So when you log in, you're going to see your FICO 8. You're going to scroll down to below the FICO 8 and then click on view additional FICO score versions. And that's going to give you the mortgage scores, the auto scores, and the new bank card scores, which is for when you want to get a credit card. And then there you can click on different tabs and see, here's all the info for your TransUnion. Here's all the info for your Equifax and all the info for your Experian. But then you can click on another tab that will give you your actual credit report. I clicked on that because I've seen some weird things recently on our accounts, and I really wanted to check it for errors. And if you think about it, I think it's about 74% of credit reports out there have errors on them. So misspelled names, wrong addresses, wrong birthdays, all those things that are errors can affect your credit score, especially if you have a common name. I don't have a common name. I don't think you have a common name either, Ravion. But anyway, you want to check for errors because those errors can affect what's on your credit report. And so if you want some more information on FICO scores, there's a good website called ficoscore.com/education. And it has everything out there about FICO scores, how to raise it, all that stuff. That is not spelled right. Sorry. Okay, so whenever you're getting some credit, one of the things you really want to have is at least one account that has been open for 6 months or longer and been reporting. So that's for people who have never had any credit whatsoever. You really want that. Now, if you have a credit report that has negative stuff like collections or charge-off or repos or whatever, you want to open up some type of line of credit that you are letting your payments post at least 6 months and have that account open at least 6 months to kind of stimulate your score. And when I say a line of credit, I'm thinking of a secured card from your bank or something, or something like Kickoff, Open Sky, or even Self, SELF. Those are like, they're called credit builders or credit boosters, where they will report your payments to the credit bureaus and bring your score up. Another plug is going to places like Furniture Deals and getting an account there. They have a really good program. It's called Acceptance Now. And they will report your payments and it will bring your score up. It's similar to like what Fingerhut does. Fingerhut also, you don't have to have credit to get that credit, but they post it on your credit report and it's a credit booster. I lean away from having people do that because some people, when I tell them to try that, I'm thinking, go get you a lamp. And they go buy a whole living room set and put themselves in debt. Wait till you get the house, get the living room set and make sure it fits, So I'm thinking, get something small, get you some spreads or something, or get you a mattress pad, something small, and break up the little payments into something manageable or whatever and let it post. Don't go get into the debt. You just trying to stimulate your score. I put a little schedule here so you can tell what's considered a poor score and what's good. So 580 or less is poor, well below the average. 580 to 659 is fair and below average. So we really want to be around 670 to 739. That's the average around the country. That's considered a good score. This is the goal right here. Very good. 740 to 799 is very good. And 800 plus, I'm gonna tell you about that 740 all the way to 800 plus, because the max is 850. When you go into places and you have an 800 credit score, they don't even scrutinize you like they do everybody else. You know how they want all of your bank statements and your check stubs and your tax this and all this and that. They got 9 million questions. When you have 800 credit score, they don't be scrutinized you the same way, because in their head, you got an 800 score. That means you got a history of making your payments on time. They can trust you with money. They gonna throw money at you. They're gonna throw discounts and points and all these kind of programs at you, because your score is so high. They feel like they can take a risk with you. So the higher your score, the less they scrutinize your file when you're getting a car and when you're getting a house, both. You can actually go inside of some dealerships with an 800 credit score and not even provide proof of income, believe it or not, and walk out with 0% interest. Ask me how. So that helps. So this other page here that I'm gonna send you is how to get your score up, make all your payments on time. So I used to use a program called mint.com, which is free, to do remind me of my payments, but Mint started charging and took away some of the benefits. So I started putting it on my calendar. So I have it on my calendar, and I use reminders to make payments. The other thing I do is I also, when I get paid, I immediately subtract my future payments so that I don't miscalculate what I owe. So if I know that I don't get paid to the 3rd, everything that's due around that time before and after between checks, I've already subtracted it, so I know how much money I'm going to have between checks. So I don't bounce checks. I don't blow my budget, because I know what I have left over, and I make all my payments on time because I plan it when I get paid. So if I get paid on Friday, I get paid tomorrow. When I get paid on Friday, I do my bills then, and then I don't have to worry about it until I get paid again, and I do my bills again. If you have a 1 or 2 off late payments, you can call the people and tell them what happened. Some people forget or get busy or have a family, situation. And if you do, you can actually call them and ask them to remove it for a one-time good faith removal. And sometimes they'll remove it, because a late payment can affect your credit score between 80 and 100 points. So imagine you work really, really hard all year, got your score up, somebody in your family gets sick, and you just get bogged down and don't really stay on top of it, and you miss a payment, and your score dropped between 80 and 100 points. That just sets you back a whole year. You can actually call them for a one-time good faith removal. Sometimes you can call them, sometimes you can write a letter, and you can be like, hey, my family was sick, I was distracted. As you can see, I've never been late with you guys. Can you do a one-time removal? And 99% of the time, they'll remove it for you. And it's immediate. It's not no long, drawn-out process, but you can't do it again the next month and the next month and the next month. It's a one-time. Keep your credit balance low. So when you get that new credit line from Kickoff or Self or Furniture Deals, don't use all of your credit. Just keep it low. Your goal is to get down to 10%. But if you have used it too much already because you didn't know, pay it down to 50%, then pay it down to 30%, but your end goal is 10% or less. If you think you can handle it, ask for a credit line increase, and that can help you with your score also. Lord, look at these spelling errors. Anyway, hard inquiries. This is the worst thing that can happen if your score is low. If your score is high, it don't really matter. So let's say your score is 740 and you went to 2 or 3 places to apply for some credit. It's gonna drop your score for the first 90 days, sorry, but it's going to fall off in 90 days. And it's probably going to see 1 or 2 points if your score is high. But if your score is in the 540, 6,600 credit score, and you go into the exact same thing, you're looking at a 10% drop in your score. So the lower your score, the bigger the impact of hard inquiries. Yes, it'll fall off, but that 90 days is going to be horrible because you lost so many points from those inquiries. Most people lose points because of buying a car. They go to the dealership and the dealership runs their credit through a whole bunch of different banks. And then the banks show a different inquiry on their credit report for every last one. It's doable because you're within your 45-day credit shopping window, but it's bad. It hurts your score. So when you go to apply for a mortgage, you will see that you have, sometimes 12 inquiries on your credit report in 30 days, which goes right back up here to the 2, 4, and 5, where they say the credit inquiries have a impact. It's up here somewhere. I can't remember where it was at, but it's up here. So you want to keep your credit inquiries to a minimum if possible. And only apply for a new credit when you need it, not just because you're in line at JCPenney's and they say, do you want a JCPenney's card and save 10%? Do you really want to? Do you really want to? Think about it first. So, and also remember I said about keeping your credit history as old as possible. A lot of people like to go through and dispute their student loans and remove them off their credit report. The problem is it will show back up when they do a mortgage for you because they pull federal history. So it may come off your credit report, but it's going to come back. 1, 2, it helps your score because usually your student loan is the oldest credit you have because it goes back to when you were in college for most people. Unpaid collections. The good news is going forward, collections are going to be, I won't say ignored, but they're not going to be scrutinized as much with the new FICO scores and the way the lenders are doing things. It won't be scrutinized as much. So it won't hurt you as much because they're going to go to a different type of grading.
Sorry to cut you off. We talked previously about a few months ago. You told me what to do or what not. Do I need to stop doing that now that this is new, or keep doing what you told me to do?
Keep doing it because it hasn't went into effect yet.
Okay, thank you.
I want to say it was like July of 2024, something like that.
Oh, by that time, girl, I'll be good. I'll be calling you. Look what I did.
Yes, and you won't even care about the rules. Like I don't even care the rules so much because I know how to manage my credit now. But back in the day, my credit was garbage because I co-signed for somebody who didn't pay their bill. There's that. I went through a divorce and he kept my mail. That dropped my score because I didn't know what I owed. And this is back in the 90s. So there wasn't no logging into no website to see what your credit, your bill is due. You had to have your mail to pay your stuff. So I had a lot of credit things over the years, but everything I learned, I kept note of it in a little binder until every time things change, I try to keep up with what changes.
Okay.
If you don't want to pay for the MyFICO, look on that website I gave you here, this FICOscore.com. It will tell you what banks are actually providing the FICO scores. So like Bank of America offers me a FICO 8. The FICO 8 I get it for free from Bank of America, but the FICO 8 is the closest I've seen to my 2, 4, and 5 for mortgages. So I knew when I was rating my next investment property because I already saw it on my Bank of America FICO 8. So I went and got this so I can teach you guys. But when I got it and pulled my score, it pretty much was within points, a few points of each other. So it was fine. So if you don't want to pay for the MyFICO.com or whatever, if you don't want to pay for that, then see if your bank is offering it. Go down to the fine print and kind of see, like if you have US Bank, US Bank does not. US Bank offers a Vantage score just like Credit Karma. So you wouldn't want to use them. I want to say Community America. I can't remember, but there are some banks that offer your FICO score for free. So that's a cheap way to get around it. You just got to see what your bank already has on the website. Some of them have it in their app. So the FICO 8 was the closest I found to the 2, 4, and 5 that was free. See if you can get that. The Vantage score 3.0 is the one you found with US Bank and Credit Karma. That ain't what you want. And if you have some fraud on your account, just consider getting some monitoring from aura.com or look at some other options. I don't do credit monitoring because I do have the myfico.com and it keeps alerting me whenever there's an inquiry or a change or anything like that. But everybody's different. Do your own research. So you got any questions for me?
No, ma'am. Everything is self-explanatory.
All right.
Only because we just literally had this conversation and stuff like that. You broke everything down. The only thing I do regret is I didn't take any notes. But I mean, this is kind of like a refresher. I got my notes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good.
So now you can work on your actual plan. Because if
Yeah.
you do these right here on this page 1 through 5, honestly, I mean, you probably can see your score up as quickly as within 45 days. And if you have anybody who can add you to as an authorized signer on their credit card, oh my gosh, that'll pull your score up so fast. That's the fastest way. And then start working on building credit. I need to put on here Self, Kickoff, and Open Sky. Open Sky has fees, but Self and Kickoff were more affordable. I'll add that on here before I send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
You can kind of read through it to kind of go with your plan. And honestly, I've seen people that I've helped that I've, checked with on a regular basis. Within 6 months, they were already in a house. So, yeah. And if you look on my page, you will see they will tell you that I helped them with their credit also. They didn't just get told to find a lender and then come back when they were ready. We actually walked through an actual plan. We pulled the credit report from annualcreditreport.com. We checked for errors. This is before I told them about my FICO. We checked for errors, and then we went through and cleaned up whatever had to be cleaned up, whether it was something that needed to be paid off or negotiated, removal, all of that stuff, late payments, we consolidated stuff, all of that. So I even had one lady who got a personal credit card, a personal line of credit to replace her car note, just because that personal line of credit was going to be a new line of credit, but it was going to be more than what she owed, but a lower interest rate. And that got her into her house.
Wow, that's amazing. That's dope.
Yeah, we put together a plan. So when you're ready to do a plan, we write out the plan and we work on the plan for 6 months. And usually we're there about in 6 months. The only people I have not been able to help in 6 months are those who drop the ball and then stop talking to me because they're afraid I'm gonna fuss at them, because I am.
I know, because you are, and that's what you are. I mean, I think I love it so much because you, excuse my language, you smell bullshit around the way, and you're not one of those people who sugarcoat it. You don't play games. You mean business. Either you're gonna come correct or you're just not gonna come at all. Like, don't waste my time because I'm trying to help you. And right now, I probably shouldn't say this, but you have truly helped me out. I mean, I've been knowing you for about it's going on 2 years, and you haven't even took a dime from me. I mean, you could have been one of those people like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fix your credit, blah blah blah, and here you go. This is my fees. But you was like, no, Ravion, I don't think it's necessary that you pay me for this. This is what you need to do.
Well, how can I help my
respected that.
community if I'm always trying to benefit from you? Like, basically, look, if you get your credit together, either you're gonna buy a house from me with me being your agent, or you're gonna buy one of my flips. But then again, if you don't want to get your credit together, I got a rental property too. So you're gonna take this help and you're gonna like it.
So yeah, that's one thing I love. Yes.
So this is how I'm trying to help my community. I am going to save this video, put it on my YouTube, reshare it, but I'm going to have another one. There's going to be a one about money also to get us ready for inflation, because inflation is so bad, it's throwing everybody's budget off. Those who actually had an actual budget. I don't think a lot of us have budgets.
I think I just realized that I didn't have a budget, and now when I'm just because we go shop, like when gas prices was up in the summertime, I didn't think that was a big deal because I need gas anyway, and I'm just trying to change my mind, my thinking, because okay, I'm gonna always be this way if I don't change my point of view or my thinking and stuff like that. Just going with the flow,
Yeah.
robbing Peter to save Paul, wherever that saying is. I don't want to live like that, bro. I got 4 more years and I'm 30. I don't want to look up in 30 trying to get together. I don't want to do it.
Yes.
It's now.
I bought my first house at 28, so it's totally possible. I was 28 and pregnant. So
and that's nothing. I want more kids, but I don't want to bring more kids into the world like this. Like I want the American dream, like I want to enjoy my pregnancy. I don't want to see, oh my gosh, we have to move. What are we going to do? We keep expanding, moving, and rent right now would be like 18 plus. Who the hell is about to pay $1,800 a month to live here?
But people are.
And it's crazy to me.
Are paying more than I pay on my mortgage.
That is
because
so
insane. Be cheaper than rent. So here's another little plug before we hang up. Most landlords try to get at least $400 or more over their monthly mortgage payment to make money off of their rental. They have to, because once they pay their mortgage payment, they need to have some money put aside. So when you say the furnace went out or something's leaking, they have money put aside. So rent's always gonna be more than a mortgage, period. It's always gonna be cheaper to buy your own. There's that. So I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna send it out to you. I'm gonna email you directly. You're the only one that showed up. I'm gonna email you directly, but I'm gonna save it so you can go back to the video if you need to for your notes.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll see you on the Monday meeting when we do money, budgeting.
Okay, yes, you will.
Investing, couponing.
I don't know how to do that. I tried and I was just like, I give up. I tried a few years ago. Like this was back when I was pregnant with my son. I was 19, but I'm gonna do it
digital. Again. Couponing is digital now.
See, I didn't know that. That was like 2016 type deal.
All you gotta do is take a picture of your receipt.
Okay.
Your receipt, and they put the money in your PayPal.
That's it. Okay. I got a lot to learn. I'm super excited.
I got you. All right. See you later, birthday girl.
I'll see you later. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.